Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the series in which I discuss Wim Winters and the whole beat theory. A while ago, Wim published a recording of the Hammerklavier sonata on his channel Authentic Sound. This was presented in the whole beat theory, and if you liked it, then good for you. I am not here to take that away from you. Music is first and foremost meant to be enjoyed, and I'm not here to tell you that you can't enjoy it. But if you enjoy it because it's historically correct, it's a little bit like saying you enjoy meat because it's vegetarian. So while I'm not going to take away your enjoyment for double beat performances, I am gonna present evidence that shows that it's not historically correct. And this episode will focus on the Hammerklavier sonata by Beethoven. One of the most common claims about this piece is that its metronome markings are completely impossible to execute properly. So the claim is not that it's more beautiful in a slow tempo, but it's simply impossible in a fast tempo. So, So can we drop the whole "it's not possible" argument? Because, it is possible. By the way, Bach scholar, you owe me money. Apart from contemporary performances that do match the tempo, we have a letter from Liszt, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the first one to perform this in public. In this letter, Liszt writes that a performance of this sonata takes almost an hour. Compare this to the performance uploaded by Authentic Sound that takes almost an hour and a half. We also have writing by Berlioz, who listened to Liszt while he played it in public. Not a note was left out, not one added. I followed the performance with the sheet music. Not one alteration was made in the tempo that was not indicated in the text. It was the ideal performance of a work with a reputation of being unperformable. So, historically, this piece is not double beat. So now we have a time indication from a historical performance that says it will take almost an hour, and we have contemporary performance that shows that it's possible. So instead of saying that it should be double beat because it's impossible, let's try to have a little bit of a serious discussion about it instead. According to von Bülow, the tempo may be justified in a sense by the lack of sonority in the Vienna pianos. So a first possible reason is that the instrument developed. That is a perfectly reasonable explanation, and there are plenty of other things that also have to change because of the development of the instrument. For example, the pedal in the Waldstein sonata and the dynamic marking in the Pathetique sonata. So why shouldn't tempo also have to change a little bit because of the development? The second reason is taken from the biographer Schindler, which I'm not sure I would use as a source, but Wim is using him all the time. So if Wim can use him to prove his point, I'm sure I can use it to disprove it. In his biography, we can read the following letter. The metronome marking should be 100 according to Melzel, but this can only apply to the first measures as feeling has its own tempo. This means that the tempo changes throughout the piece, which isn't a new thing. If you listen to early recordings, they change tempo all the time. So it's rather probably a new thing to stay in the same tempo throughout an entire piece. Czerny also wrote about this sonata in his opus 500. Beethoven paid little attention to the peculiarities of the pianoforte composition, but used every effort to produce the effect which he had in view. I understand that as Beethoven had this sound in his head and didn't really care if it was playable or not. Then there is of course the possibility that Beethoven simply was wrong. However, all of these reasons seem somehow unnecessary since it is shown to be possible. Maybe when Beethoven wrote the Hammerklavier sonata, he didn't mean for it to be performed by amateurs or even good musicians, but by the absolute elite. Maybe he didn't write it for everyone to be able to touch it. We're only humans, and not all of us are given the flawless technique necessary for these pieces. And with those words, I'll finish this video, and I hope you have a great day.